direction of the school, that is like the most valuable and the most, the best way to go about making some real significant change and impact on students' lives. So you need to start with a real clear overview of not only the mission and the vision of your school, but what is your data showing you? Your EOC data, your EVOS data, your attendance data, the teaching working conditions, and the new school improvement plans, and again in the last 5-10 years especially, have really forced teams to use the data to establish your goals and your action steps and your key processes. We started with a real comprehensive look at where is our school and where do we want it to be and how do we get it there. So for example, one of our goals this year, we really felt like, and this was definitely a feeling, but it was a very pervasive feeling, so we thought it was enough to really start taking a look at. We really felt that our students didn't really have buy-in or weren't feeling connected or a part of the school, or there's this apathy that was happening across, and that students weren't taking responsibility for their grades, for their attendance, for their behaviors and their attitudes. And so this year we call it Simply Own It, with the S and the imply in it, so we created a nice little slogan, and we have started a data collection to kind of get us so that our feelings are then transformed into some data points, some benchmarks. So how do you get this plan to be a living, breathing document that the entire staff has some buy-in into? If you are fortunate enough to get some dedicated parents, they really can add a wealth of knowledge and just come with a different perspective than what teachers will often have. And our students, for instance, we've got a couple of great students, and again, it's finding the students who are dedicated to want to come and spend an hour or 2 hours with adults at the end of their school day. But we've got a couple great students who have really bought into this, and they're the ones that are helping us come up with these Simply Own It, these student apathy ideas to help involve the students. So we've really used their ideas to kind of drive this component of our school improvement plan. Communication is a really important factor in making sure that the parents understand why you're doing this. Really advertising that and really getting that parent buy-in, or getting the parents on board to seeing the need and then recognizing that something needs to be done about it. I think sometimes we become so wrapped up in our own little worlds that we forget that the decisions we make have significant impacts on our students and on families. Funding for school improvement is pretty much non-existent as far as just for school improvement. Now, obviously, principals always have a way of manipulating their budgets. I know a couple of years back, our after-school assistance program was really big, and so we were able to set aside money to pay teachers to stay after school and tutor, to pay for the after-school activity buses. So there are definitely initiatives that get put in place with the school improvement as kind of being the driving force behind those initiatives. But again, those are always the restrainers that you have to really think about as far as, all right, this is a great idea, but do we have the funds, and is the principal willing to, play that shell game as far as taking some from here in order to put it here. very dynamic and important to the work of the school.